Today's reading from How to Deal with Toxic People, The Whys, we're going to visit number 3. They derive some benefit from toxic behavior. We're going to just read the third why today of toxic behavior, and I really think that we have to know why sometimes because it helps us to have empathy and to exhibit mercy and compassion for people. The third one is called They Derive Some Benefit from Toxic Behavior. So the first one was that people actually enjoy it. The second one is it runs in the family. And the third one would be that they get some benefit. Do an internet search of the phrase types of toxic people, and you're sure to come across something like this: an energy vampire. It's a vivid term that describes someone who seems to feed on the energy of others, siphoning it away through negativity and drama. Somewhere along the way, these people become captured by the idea that, like a vampire, their survival needs can only be met at someone else's expense. However, hijacked vitality is not the only need a toxic person seeks to meet through their behavior. Here are a few additional benefits from their perspective to be had from creating mental and emotional turmoil in others. Safety and control. Underlying the behavior of many toxic people is a deep sense of insecurity, the belief that the world is a hostile place, always on the verge of overwhelming their grip on life. For them, fear of losing or being left behind is a constant companion. In response, they adopt the adage that the best defense is a good offense. They seek to control the battlefield by sowing chaos and confusion in the enemy, which is you. It doesn't matter that no such adversarial relationship actually exists between you. So long as the toxic person perceives it that way, he or she will remain on high alert and act accordingly. While everyone around them is off balance and uncertain, the toxic person feels the threat has been managed, never eliminated, but at least brought under control. Notice the warlike divide and conquer language in this description of toxic people, provided by psychiatrist Abigail Brenner. Their modus operandi includes gaining total control of a situation, and that means of you too. They will demand your undivided attention and attempt to convince you that you need to join their camp. To their way of thinking, they know better than you. They're right, you're wrong, and you need to do what they say. This kind of toxic person will think nothing of invading your space and may try to isolate you from others you are close to. Understanding this motive for toxic behavior is very useful for crafting an appropriate response that doesn't waste time and effort on appeasement. Someone who feels threatened is unlikely to negotiate a settlement that gives you what you seek, which is lasting peace. The second is attention. Early childhood psychologists will tell you that to a toddler, negative attention is often far preferable to being ignored. A toxic person is often deeply wounded, but has been unable for some reason to express their pain and take responsibility for how it affects them. They feel that no one listens or cares. Think again about the underlying fear and insecurity in the last point. Now imagine that instead of being aggressive or combative, the toxic person adopts an attitude of victimhood, weakness, or neediness in order to accomplish the same goal. In other words, they use manipulated sympathy to keep the people around them from wising up and pushing back, or worse, abandoning them altogether. The third point in this is winning by any means. For a toxic person, winning is everything, which makes a fair contest unthinkable. Author Vanessa Van Edwards calls this person the tank. The tank crushes everything in its wake. A human tank is always right, doesn't take anyone else's feelings or ideas into account, and constantly puts themselves first. In a relationship, tanks are incredibly arrogant and see their personal opinions as facts. This is because they often think they are the smartest person in the room, so they see every conversation and person as a challenge that must be won over. That accurately describes many toxic people who are determined to win by sheer force. For some people, however, a better word might be saboteur, somebody who uses stealth and deception to make sure they come out on top in every situation. Toxic people may have dozens of other more specific payoffs for their behavior: career advancement, vengeance for a perceived offense, monetary gain, and so on. The point is, so long as they think they gain from their behavior, you will continue to lose. I'm going to remind everybody how to deal with toxic people, that we can all fall into toxic behaviors. It's just pulling ourselves out of them, recognizing them first off, then pulling ourselves out of them. And number 3, as we just read today, is they derive some benefit: safety and control, attention, and winning by any means. That's number 3. We've got 2 more to go to understand toxic people. And understanding them, we can understand ourselves, and perhaps even have some compassion and mercy and choose peace.